afternoon, New Orleans, or wherever you may be. It's 4 o'clock Wednesday, so this must be the Baldy and the Blonde show, and I must be the bald one. And I'm sitting here with the great blonde one, Michelle. Go ahead and say hello, Michelle.
Hello, Michelle.
You want to do a show today?
I think so,
right,
yes.
we're gonna
I'm
do a show.
thinking courts.
I was having such a good time in the green room, I didn't even feel like coming in and doing
Courts,
this. But
Candace, Kings, and up. Before we move any further, I'd like to say hello. Shout out to Roy, Uber Roy.
the limo driver.
That's it. We had a limo drop us off. He was excellent.
That was a fine limo.
Yes, sir. Hi, Roy.
All right, what you want to talk about today?
I think we need to talk a little bit about a case that before the Supreme Court was argued today called Calais versus Louisiana.
All right, what's the gist of that? I'm
Well,
not so familiar.
The gist of that is, if you know what...
the
ever-
districting.
Yes.
Yes.
It's about redistricting, which sounds boring, but if you ever look at a map of Louisiana and look at the newly created congressional district, it stretches from the top of Louisiana down to the middle or bottom.
It's a catastrophe. I have
It
seen that.
is
I saw that a
absurd.
couple months ago.
And it was in
It's a
order.
joke.
It's a joke.
It's like a first grader would do.
It really is a joke. So the basic idea of congressional districts is that you'll have representation and access. All people being treated equally would have representation and access to their representative. I don't know how somebody in South Louisiana reaches all the way up to North Louisiana, and those people have different climates, different food, different culture.
Sure.
I mean, it's just crazy, and it's all to satisfy what I believe is completely outdated ideas about racial representation. We're all Americans. We all vote for white and black, Democrat, Republican, whatever, and it's the Civil Rights Act, Section 2, required certain racial representation, and that has been challenged given the day and age that we now live in. And it comes out of Louisiana. It's going to affect the whole country. And I'm sorry to say that Ketanji Brown Jackson has embarrassed herself again, or she was appointed by Biden with an auto pen.
She's
so.
good at embarrassing herself.
She really is.
And you know what? I just want to start with the point that if districting is not colorblind,
Yes.
it's completely illegitimate.
Well, that's it. And we're trying to get back to colorblind since our country's come a long way since 1865 and since the Voting Rights Act of 1965. And things are different and it needs to be recognized. And really what's happened is, and I read a really great article, so I'm just going to read this, that instead of racial harmony, we have political apartheid in a system in which the color of your district dictated the color of your representative, which is just nuts. Okay, so citizens are not bound by shared
ridiculous.
interests, but as members of a certain racial or...
Yeah, that's preposterous. That's
I
why
mean,
I'm an anarchist. I can't stand that stuff.
No, it's pathetic.
I can't stand government. Everything they do is wrong and horrible and misguided.
It
period.
always is. So the case really asks whether or not we need to continue with this majority-minority districts, and those districts require explicit racial sorting, or do we now go forward and recognize that minority voters are not a monolith and that their political rights are individual rights, not collective? Obviously.
We're individual voters.
Obviously.
We go to the polls and vote our own way.
I
Those
mean,
of
look
us
at
who vote.
Trump. He got, 25% of the black vote. Male black vote, I believe
that
it
right?
was. I believe
Yeah,
so.
I don't know.
Yeah. And look at Obama.
Well, the
got
point
43% of the white vote.
we
It's
are all
crazy.
individuals, and if you don't see it that way, you're seeing something wrong.
Yeah, so it's an interesting case, and but unfortunately, Ketanji Brown Jackson, who should we highlight there's just to set it up as to who she is. She was appointed by Biden when Biden was no longer of sound. If he ever was, it was certainly when he had.
Well, that was when he was 14.
Yeah, he had dementia. So.
No, he was of sound mind when he was 14.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm
I didn't
saying.
hear what you said. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah,
we have a couple
so-
of clips. Which one do you want from
Well-
the Grand Justice?
I would say we should start with.
The short one's really good. It just gives you an idea who we're talking
Let's
about.
go with that.
You want to set this
Yeah,
one
this
up?
is. Well, is this the one that's hamstring?
Yes.
Yes. So we have played this on numerous shows because I just find it so appalling. But there was another giant case that came out of Louisiana called Missouri versus Biden. Anyway, it was all about the First Amendment. Could the government censor you? And of course, the whole purpose of the First Amendment is to prevent the government from censoring. And she offered this statement.
My biggest concern is that your view has the First Amendment hamstringing the government in significant ways.
Okay.
This is the stupidest thing.
I have nothing
My
to say.
concern is that your argument have the First Amendment's hamstringing the government.
Yes. And
It's supposed to be more than a hamstring. It's supposed to be chaining down the government.
yes, that's what it's supposed to do.
Okay, now
but
the second
she
clip
doesn't know it. So
It's pretty long, so if we're going to do it, we
Let's
got to
do
play
it.
it. So do you want to set this one up, please? You know it better than I do.
this is just her talking.
This is from today, right?
Yes, she basically compares black voters to people with disabilities.
She said
She's
that.
black.
She straight up
What?
said it.
Yeah, so
All right.
she straight up said that. Go.
Now, it's kind of long. I clipped it out to play at 1.2 speed because there's one rule on Baldy and the Blonde. It's the only moron that gets to go on for more than a minute is me.
That's right.
So I sped it up, so this moron will go for a little less than a minute. Here we go.
Here we go.
Congress passed the Americans with Disabilities Act against the backdrop of a world that was generally not accessible to people with disabilities. And so it was discriminatory in effect because these folks were not able to access these buildings. And it didn't matter whether the person who built the building or the person who owned the building intended for them to be exclusionary. That's irrelevant. Congress said the facilities have to be made equally open to people with disabilities if readily possible. I guess I don't understand why that's not what's happening here. The idea in Section 2 is that we are responding to current day manifestations of past and present decisions that disadvantage minorities and make it so that they don't have equal access to the voting system. They're disabled. In fact, we use the word disable in Milligan. We say that's a way in which you see that these processes are not equally open.
It is so insulting. I'm sorry if I.
That's horrific.
It's horrific. It's so insulting. But, she's just not. I can't say anything good.
Good
about
thing
her.
she has
She's
a
just
lifetime
terrible.
appointment.
She
Thank
compares
goodness.
it to disabilities. All right.
Yes.
So, and she's already been taken down a couple of times by fellow members of the Supreme Court. It's not just that she has different opinions. They said she's really not qualified. She's just, anybody that would say, is the government being hamstrung by the First Amendment cannot be on the Supreme Court of the United States.
That is laughable. I didn't mean to laugh, but
and
it's
now calling
literally
black
laughable.
people disabled.
Yeah,
They're-
she did.
God, like they need handicapped access basically to the system. That is just
It doesn't make any
insulting
sense.
beyond belief. So
Because, again, it all comes back to we are all individuals. We go to the poll. We vote our conscience and our desires individually.
I just want to read what Amy Comey Barrett commented one time with regard to Ketanji's catastrophic argument regarding birthright citizenship. Quote, "We will not dwell on Justice Jackson's argument, which is at odds with more than 2 centuries worth of precedent, not to mention the Constitution itself." Period. That's scathing.
That's pretty harsh words
pretty harsh.
from one justice about another justice.
Yeah, they don't usually do that.
No,
so,
they
yeah,
don't.
so it's
All right, so
Louisiana,
when we
baby.
come back, what are we going to hit when we come back? Let's set that up.
well, I think when we come back, we're going to talk about.
Oh, we got those
It's
two.
all about the courts today.
We
so
got those 2 cases that
Yeah.
we wanted to talk about. Oh, these are horrific.
Horrific.
Talk about a tyrannical government. Some things don't change. Yeah, we got a new leader, but I'll tell you what, the system is so monstrous that the tyranny remains in place. We're going to talk about a guy who all he did was post a meme. This was in Tennessee. He posted a meme that was hardly even offensive. He got a $2 million bond and faces some serious prison time. And another guy was just running on a mountain in Utah, and he's up on.
No, Wyoming.
Was it
Oh, man, maybe
Wyoming?
I'm wrong.
Oh no,
It was the Tetons. So
I think you're right.
I just
And-
happen to have been
yes,
there before.
You're
so.
right. And I correct me. Thank you. But anyway, he was just running on a mountain, and didn't know a trail was closed because it wasn't properly marked, and the feds are coming down on him. He's already been found guilty.
Yeah, pretty much.
So we'll be talking about.
Yeah.
No, he's actually been found guilty by the judge.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Yeah.
Jeez.
So when we come back, we'll talk about those 2 cases, and then
And
what
we're
else?
going to talk a little bit
what else
about
we got?
poor Letitia James.
Oh, Portland. Yes, I forgot all about that.
Yeah,
we got
had
some
some
great
great
clips
clips on her. And, she's now facing some some serious consequences for, as it turns out, ironically,
Lying on mortgage documents.
Yes, which CNN, or I forget, was it CNN or MSNBC, says everybody lies on their mortgage documents.
They
What?
said that?
They did. I should have got that clip for you. It was amazing. Yeah, they actually said,
Wow.
well, everybody does it. No, everybody does
No,
not.
that's not a
we
thing.
know the government looks at that. If they want to get you, that's where they go.
Well, because at least in New York, those documents they're posted publicly. Anybody has access to those.
Look, it goes back to years.
1983
and years.
is my
She's
understanding.
been lying about her.
Wow. Anyway, so we're going to come back with
And we got some Hillary
crimes
and Bill.
against good old Americans, and then Letitia's crime against the banks, and more.
Hello, everybody. This is Baldy and the Blonde here every Wednesday at 4, and available at all times at baldyandtheblonde.com, commercial free. We are today looking at the courts, and eventually we will also look at Candace and perhaps some kings. But sticking right now to the courts, which seem to be acting crazy. Tom?
Which one are we going to go to?
I think we should talk about Big Tish James.
Letitia James.
Yes,
Okay.
think
Well, I
so.
do have a few clips related to
And
that.
Letitia is the Attorney General for the state of New York. And, you know, she has some ethical responsibilities and requirements as a lawyer. And you're supposed to get arrested for doing a crime. You're not supposed to be targeted and then have somebody look at everything you've ever done to see if they can find something to get you. That
But
would be
she
a police
ran
state, yes.
when she was running back in 2018.
Right.
A lot of her campaign promises were specifically, "I'm going to go after that guy."
I'm
Trump.
going after Trump.
Yes.
Elect me and I will go get him.
Right. And
Not on anything. She didn't have a crime,
That's
in other
right.
words. I will just,
But
let's let her say it.
Yeah. So
she
then,
says it in her own words beautifully.
right now, this is not during the campaign. This short little clip we have is actually in November of 2018 at her victory speech.
Yes.
She had just been elected that night as Attorney General for New York, and let's hear what she had to say.
Will be shining a bright light into every dark corner of his real estate dealings.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's got a sting because now
uh.
what's she on up for now is real estate
Real
dealings.
estate
Let's
dealing.
listen to that one.
And-
Yeah,
let's hear it again.
To play that again.
Will be shining a bright light into every dark corner of his real estate dealings.
Okay, so one is the irony, but two, how dare she, as the elected Attorney General, be talking about what she's going to do to somebody?
Yeah. I mean, that's
That's
straight out
shocking.
of the Soviet Union.
Yeah, and
know.
you know what? Well, it is.
Yeah, it
And you
is,
know,
actually.
when there's an ongoing investigation, the first thing they say is, "Well, I can't talk about it. There's an investigation." Right? But she's just openly, "I'm going to go after this guy, and I'll shine a bright light, and I guess I'll
find something.
I'll find something. And I'll tell you all about it."
I'm going to get him.
Yeah, I'm going to get
Yeah.
him.
And she sure
On
did.
what? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm going to get him.
And let's just go over what she got him on, because that is the most insane prosecution
Yeah.
like ever.
Right.
She
a
got
novel
him.
approach. They even admitted it was a novel approach. 34
approach.
counts, and it was for the same thing.
Oh, that's a different one. That's
yeah.
what's his name?
Different.
Alvin Bragg.
Yeah. Oh.
That was 34 counts for a payoff for the porn star. You know, the non-disclosure.
Oh, that was?
Yeah.
I thought the 34
times.
counts was this.
No,
one.
no, no. This
Well,
one.
no, you know what? Just stop listening.
No,
to
no,
me.
no.
No, seriously, just Kobe, just cut my mic. Thank you. Go, just go.
It was actually it was this was the case where they said that Donald had overvalued some of his properties or something and got some loans.
Yes.
And he paid every loan back with interest on time. The bank was happy. Everybody was happy. But somehow she made the argument that he was advantaged by overvaluing property, which, by the way, was not overvalued and which the bank valuated themselves.
That's right.
Yes.
Of course they did.
It was absurd.
They don't take
so
your
it
word
was a
for it.
Deutsche Bank. They're not a baby bank. So it was absurd, and yet, of course, because you cannot get a fair trial, which is why you really got to watch where you go, conservatives.
Well-
you really got to think about, should I make myself subject to the jurisdiction of New York? I don't think so. Should you go to England right now and write anything on Facebook? I don't think so.
Well, that you know what though? That now it makes you wonder. What about in the U.S.? We're going to hear about.
We're going to hear about
later.
that too.
And not to mention what we talked about the last, I don't know, 2 weeks ago and the week before that is Clay Higgins of Louisiana.
Yes, sadly.
He wants to go after, if you posted a meme that's disrespectful to Charlie Kirk,
Yep.
he literally said, you shouldn't work again. You shouldn't go to school again. No more
Right.
business license.
mean-
I'm coming after your driver's license.
It's
And
crazy.
we reached out to his office to ask him if he has ever reconsidered and disavowed that. He goes, nope, I stand by
He
it.
stands by it.
And so that's happening here. And
Yes,
this
it
guy in
is.
Tennessee we're going to talk about has a $2 million bond for a simple meme that was hardly even offensive.
But before we go too far afield, although I do want to go a little bit further afield and just say that unlike the left, which marches in lockstep unison, no one ever steps out of line. No one ever says, hey, maybe we shouldn't go after Trump on these trumped up charges because maybe it's going to boomerang back on us, you know? We, on the other side, call them out instantly. When Pam Bondi came on TV and said, oh, we're going to have hate speech prosecutions for people that say hateful things, she had to retract that within 24 hours because our side went insane.
She got blasted.
She got blasted. We don't put up with that.
Well, I haven't seen anybody called Clay Higgins on that. And they
Well, I
should.
don't think they know about it.
He
I mean,
posted
I think you
it
and
on
I
X. I know about it, and I'm a dumbass in a booth
Well, yeah. Well,
with who finally has his mic turned on. I'll add.
thank you for turning it back on.
Thank you.
So
Anyway, so
out of
we have
anyway, back to Letitia.
We do Letitia.
I call her
please.
Letitia.
You say Letitia, I say
you say
Letitia, and
Letitia.
I'm right and you're wrong. Turn her mic off. All right, so we have a little 92-second sound clip by a guy named Joel Gilbert, who's a filmmaker and journalist. He will summarize the mortgage fraud of Letitia James better than we can.
Yeah, let
so
it rip.
let's just let him do it, and
Let's
then
let
you
him
really
do it.
can turn our mics off. Okay, here we go.
What I found is a pattern of mortgage fraud going all the way back to 1983 when she was only 24 years old. She purchased her first home with her father, claiming that her father was her husband. They purchased it as husband and wife in order to help Letitia qualify for a mortgage that she was not entitled to. Letitia continued this pattern of mortgage fraud with her building in Brooklyn. She bought a 4-story, 5-unit apartment building, and for 24 years she told the banks it was either 4 units or 1 unit, even though the certificate of occupancy for the building said it was 5 units. She bought 3 homes in the state of Virginia where her mother was from. Every one of those 3 homes, there's mortgage fraud. She buys a foreclosure with her aunt, and then she doesn't appear on the deed, which is illegal. She buys a house at Sterling Avenue in Norfolk, Virginia, and she explicitly says, I bought this for my niece's children to make us think that, oh, she's trying to help little kids. Well, her niece's 2 children are adult convicted felons. One of them is an absconder from justice with an arrest warrant out in North Carolina. So Letitia bought the property specifically to harbor a fugitive. Now, on that property, Letitia claimed that would be her primary residence. It was actually rejected by the bank 9 times. They would not approve the loan. The 10th time, Letitia says, that's going to be my primary residence. It gets approved, and that was illegal because she got the mortgage and lower interest rates. The indictment by Ms. Halligan yesterday revolves around the 3rd property on Perone Avenue, and on that property, she took out a specialized loan that specifically said Letitia had to either live there or use it as a second residence. She was not allowed to rent it out. Sure enough, Letitia simply rented it out.
I mean,
On a lot of different properties.
yeah, going
Yes.
back till she's 24 and married to her dad.
And the big difference, you're right.
The
and
left
also
loves to marry
like,
brothers,
yeah, you're
sisters,
right.
daddies.
But the,
Yeah.
the thing about like how many units were there, and if it exceeds 4, and it's 5 or more, and this one was 5, you have to go into a commercial loan. I did a lot of mortgages.
I was going to
back
say,
in the
Tom
day.
used to be a mortgage
And
officer.
so if it has more than 4 units, and this one did, it's now a commercial property. You have much higher closing costs,
interest.
much higher down payment required, higher interest rate, and a lot more scrutiny. Whereas if it's a 4 unit, then that's just residential. And yeah, you still got some closing costs, not nearly as high, much lower interest rate. And obviously you still have some scrutiny and down payment required, but much less. So she lied about that for many, many years.
Many years.
And so what? We're not supposed to go after her? It's only retribution? No, it's because you did wrong.
You did wrong. Maybe nobody would have. It's possible that people wouldn't have been scrutinizing her as much. But anyway, we'll cover more of this on Baldy and the Blonde when we get back. BaldyandTheBlonde.com.
Baldy and the Blonde are back, fully clothed in the booth of truth. I am Tom Coates with Michelle Godin. Well, we are.
Yeah,
Why-
that's
why is
true.
that funny?
That it just is.
We
it's
are.
okay. We scrambled.
Yes. All right. So, all right. I wanted to play a short clip by Chuck Schumer,
Yes, Chucky.
who this was just last
Chucky.
Sunday. He was on MSNBC with Al Sharpton. Honestly, I don't know what the full interview was about. I think what he's speaking about here was the prosecution of Letitia James and other things.
Yes.
I don't know what those other things were because I'm not about to watch that interview.
Hell no. Tom,
Right.
don't you know? The left is all appalled because all of a sudden, wow, wait, the justice system has
Yeah.
been weaponized.
Yeah. Oh,
What?
yeah. Yeah. He is shocked. Listen to this quote. It's kind of a two-parter.
It's so ridiculous.
The first part is he just can't believe that it's been weaponized and it's a sign of tyranny and
Yeah, blah.
autocracy.
Yeah.
So
like,
here's
like all of us weren't alive for the last 10
Yeah,
years, okay?
right.
Yeah, whatever.
like history started a few weeks ago or
Right.
something. All right. So here's Chucky Schumer last Sunday.
It is just such a hallmark of tyrannical, autocratic dictatorship societies that they use the prosecutorial department as a political weapon.
Okay. He's actually 100% correct,
Yes,
right?
he is.
He says it is just such a hallmark of tyrannical, autocratic dictatorship societies that they use the prosecutorial department as a political weapon. Correct.
That is.
And that's what they were doing
Yes, it's not
for
happening
years.
now. Not now.
Right?
Yeah, January 6th, Bannon,
Well,
going to
Trump.
people's houses, Trump
Right?
going through Mar-a-Lago. What?
Yes.
With in order to kill. And specific
Yes.
permission
Yes,
written
they did.
to
Permission
kill.
to kill.
To kill.
And you're right. But the January Sixers is a perfect example
Perfect.
of
Versus
that. Weaponized government.
Antifa, Black Lives Matter, nothing.
But with
Zip.
Chuck Schumer, history started a few weeks ago under
Yeah.
this administration,
Yeah,
apparently.
that's it.
All right, now here's the second half of this quote, and it's not a separate quote. It continues on. I
Right,
just
but we had
stopped
to
it
chop it
in
a little
mid sentence. Here we go.
It is a disgrace, and every American, I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, liberal, conservative, moderate, people should be forcefully rising up against this.
Now that word "forcefully" is interesting.
Yeah.
Because
The party of peace and love.
well, he would say, if pressed for it, he would just say, "Well, I didn't mean that the people should engage in forceful physical violence. I just meant they need to be forceful in their actions and be whatever, fill in the blank with
Right.
whatever he might say."
Except-
Now, but a lot of people out there, and remember, we're in a country of, well, with all the illegals, about 800 million now. There's enough people who would hear that and take it in a different way to engage in use of force.
Well,
He needs to watch his words because, I mean, look what's going on in Portland, Chicago, LA with ICE and other places. But there are powder kegs all over, and there's been a slow fuse has been lit, and they are just waiting for that first one to go off. And they don't know where it's going to go. But look I don't know if you
Well
know what's
said.
happening in Chicago. And
well said.
I haven't read in enough detail, but I believe it was in a 24-hour period. 2 cars rammed ICE cars or ICE facilities. ICE called the cops for help. The cops were on their way to go, but got called off
Yep.
by Central Command. Called them off and said, "We're not responding." So at some point, ICE will have to. Not that cops don't have a history of using way too much force. They do.
Some.
No. What I mean is there is a history
Right.
of that. It's a thing,
It
and
is.
not all of them, but yes,
Right,
it happens.
it's-
But these guys, ICE could be absolutely using just self-defense and be perfectly justified. But if the cops aren't coming, well, then that self-defense could be used as then by the people who are on the offensive to just release hell on them, and then it's on.
And there's a lot of speculation that is what the left wants, and that's why you hear Chucky Schumer
I don't
say,
know if it's.
it's my opinion. It's
No,
my
I
opinion. that
no,
they
I
do.
know. I'm not saying it's just the left. It's who is funding this stuff? It's not the rioters on the streets. Who is funding this? And I'm beyond calling it left or right or Democrat or Republican. There is some invisible hand financing this stuff, and they have a political bent, and it does seem to be favoring the left, but I think that's simplifying it too much. It's now.
Well, all I'm saying is Chucky has a history. So now he's calling for forceful rising up when, at the same time, the police protection is not there for ICE.
Correct.
Chicago has removed the fencing in anticipation of a weekend of protests by the No Kings.
No, and LA's got a state of emergency declared
Yeah.
just because ICE is trying to do their jobs.
Well, and I mean, after all, what I say every week, I guess, is if the left thinks we should have open borders, which we do not have a law that allows that, and B, they want to overturn the immigration law so we cannot deport people anymore, then change the law. But right now,
That's right.
we are following the law, and there are people refusing to comply with the law. So, and that, I'm sorry, comes 100%, all right, 98% from the left. Chucky Schumer has previously called on the steps of the Capitol to let the right know that we would reap the whirlwind of the seeds that had been sown, referring to violence that would follow the reversal of Roe versus Wade. And sure enough, Brett Kavanaugh's family was almost killed by somebody who got, I think, 8 years.
Yeah, it was eight years and a month, I think.
Yeah. And something happened to some of these other judges. You can certainly tell that some of them appear to be scared.
Now, I'll be the first to say that bad laws should be ignored, I think, but I wouldn't call border protection bad laws.
I would
You
say
can't
it's
have-
one of the very
you
few
can't have
things
just-
the country's supposed to do.
You can't have open borders and
Welfare.
freebies for everyone
Yeah.
and still be a country. That's
Well,
not a thing.
And for anybody who doubts that literally there was a great article written by Governor Bill Lamb of Colorado, probably in the 70s. I've come across it several times. And literally he says you cannot have those two things. You cannot have an open border and a welfare system.
No, that's a duh. Of course
'Cause-
not. How's that even controversial?
And not only that, but
it is
really
somehow.
I mean, all of a sudden, let's say New Orleans has, I don't know, just pick any cultural group that's not from here. Let's just say French. The French people come and they overwhelm, let's say they have 50,000 Frenchies suddenly living in New Orleans. Well, they don't know our culture.
No,
They
but
don't-
okay, you'd
Well,
have
French is not a good example.
you'd have a
'cause
much better wine selection,
What's that?
right?
That is true.
For starters.
But yeah, there's just, there's a certain sort of assimilation process that can only occur.
Kissing would improve.
Kissing,
Just going to throw that out there.
Kissing would be way better. Ooh la la.
I mean, they invented it.
Yeah, they did. French kissing.
It has its own name. Fries would get better. Maids would get better.
Oh, French maids.
Yeah, all that stuff would improve. So that's a bad example.
It is a bad example. Well, I don't want to say anything now because whoever I say is going to be offended. But let's just say, well, you want to say somebody? Some group?
Well, okay. Yeah, I lived in Hawaii for several years.
All right.
And it is a different culture there.
Totally.
If 100,000 Native Hawaiians moved to New Orleans, there would be nothing wrong with that, but it would be a different culture.
It would.
And that
And they would
and it doesn't
overwhelm.
mean it's a better culture or a worse culture, but it means it's a different culture.
It's an aloha culture.
Right. Oh, it's awesome. I loved living in Hawaii.
But it is really different. So
And my wife asked me, because I did not have that wife when I was living there. She says, "Well,
it
if you
was
loved it so
Mrs.
much,
Baldy number one.
yes, no." And Mrs. Baldy number 2, she never listens to this.
She's not going to hear it.
But you'll tell her.
I will certainly tell her.
But she asked me, "Well, if you loved it so much, why did you leave?" I said, "Because I screwed up. Okay, I don't make every right decision." Anyway, but the point is,
Yes.
it would be a different culture.
Yes.
By bringing in a different people.
Yes.
Now, there's nothing necessarily wrong with all of a sudden having a different culture. If it's an improvement, it is. We do learn from each other. It's not cultural appropriation.
But we've been
You learn-
overwhelmed.
But and that's
20
your
million
point.
people
If you're-
invaded the country during
and that's
Biden.
the point. If you are overwhelmed,
Yes.
and now your country, your entire culture has changed overnight.
That's it. And
now-
look, our government is shut down right now because the Democrats are demanding, no matter what they say, go look it up.
Right.
They are demanding that we put illegal aliens on our healthcare
Yeah,
system.
the way they
and there's
couch it.
trickery going on with the way they word it.
Well, we're just saying free health care for all.
For all,
Well, all what? All Martians included? Like,
yeah. I mean, it's total BS. It has to do with people that have made claims for asylum. Therefore, they're technically, awaiting their court date. But they all knew because Biden announced, if you say you're here for asylum, you can get in. So everyone knew to say that. And asylum means, my family's going to be killed by, the cartel, and you have some proof of that. Whereas, in fact, almost everyone that comes to the U.S. comes for economic reasons to make money. And the other thing is, if you're coming from Venezuela because you're trying to escape the cartels of Venezuela, well, then stay in Mexico.
Yeah, you don't need to come all the way
You don't need to come
the
here.
US.
Yeah, so it's BS.
You've already escaped.
So we cannot afford, we are trillions of dollars in debt. We cannot afford to be the welfare capital for the international community.
We can't afford to even get up in the morning.
Have you seen
$37 trillion in debt? You can't afford.
Look at our roads. I mean, it's appalling. The state of every big, beautiful, formerly beautiful city in the U.S. It's terrible.
We should have every American city, or at least at least all the interstates, they could be paved with gold.
They could be.
For what we spend, and it's all on. Look how much it gets spent on other countries.
I mean, right?
Billions.
Circumcisions in Guyana or whatever it is. Come on.
Well, I'm mostly talking about military aid. Just look at what's been going on the last few years.
Please.
But we pretend that we can pay for all this other stuff. We can't pay for the steam
We're
off
going
a ham
broke.
sandwich.
That's it. We're going broke here in the Baldy and the Blonde studio. We'll be back after the break. Welcome back to Baldy and the Blonde. I'm Michelle Godin here with Tom Kowitz, and we are going to try to finish up the show.
Still fully clothed, by the way.
Still fully clothed. On our way to cocktails in the quarter.
Oh yeah. We sure are. Well,
Yes,
we have a lot of
Mrs. Baldy number 2 will be there too.
And a lot of other Baldy and the Blonde fans will be there.
Yes, they will be.
Okay, so I wanted to talk a minute about these 2 horrific cases. Talk about tyranny.
Yes.
For just nothing.
For nothing.
Not crimes
Nothing,
at
honey.
all. One of them, the first poor guy, name is Michelino Sunseri. Well, that's a cool name. So, and you're right. It was the Grand Tetons in Wyoming.
Yep.
So he's a mountain runner. He's an athlete.
I've been there.
And he was running
beautiful mountains.
He was running a trail that was it was actually it's a marked trail.
Yep.
And it's a worn trail used by people all the time, even today. It just keeps. I don't know if actually.
I'm sure
today,
I walked
but as
it.
of a month or two ago, it was still open. And he was running on it, and he posted to Facebook his path that he took.
Yeah.
Well, somebody with the park saw his trail, and they realized, oh, he went on that path that's closed. Problem is, it wasn't clearly marked as closed, and the signs were tiny, and they were vague in their wording. One just said, "Shortcutting causes erosion."
I mean, how are you supposed to know you can't go on the path because it says that?
Right, and the other one, now there was one at the bottom of the trail, a small sign that said, "Closed for regrowth." So they want this path that is used so much that walkers use it all the time.
Yeah.
And it was down to dirt or nearly dirt, and they wanted to close it so it could be regrown. He didn't know it was closed, and it wasn't a shortcut because people use it all the time.
Well, and he posted on Facebook, so he obviously didn't have guilty.
Exactly. So then the National Park Service, they asked the feds to prosecute him for just running on a trail.
Yep.
Then they realized, we've gone too far. So they asked them to reconsider but guess what? The feds went ahead anyway.
Yep.
And he was cited for using a prohibited trail, even though he later took responsibility for his actions.
Yeah.
Expressed regret.
Yep.
Volunteered to help officially close it, and because it receives regular foot traffic anyway.
Yeah.
Because nobody knows it's closed.
Yeah.
So he says, "I'll come in. I'll help you close it. Help with the regrowth and all that." But guess what? The feds filed criminal charges anyway.
That's incredible.
He had a judge trial and was found guilty on September 2nd. I think on September 9th, he said he was going to appeal. So the sentencing and the appeal are pending. But the feds are going after a guy who just ran on a trail that people walk on all the time. And even the Park Service says, don't do it.
I have a couple of answers. Number one, Karen. There's a Karen in charge somewhere. Absolutely, there's a Karen. Number two, this is insane, and I repeatedly say that we need to abolish at least 2/3 of the federal courts. We do not need all of the federal courts that we have. Think about it, ladies and gentlemen. If you've ever had a court case, 9 times out of 10, it is a state court that you go to, because crimes are mostly state crimes, bank issues, civil suits, accidents, all state court mostly. Okay, I'm not going to get into the, I am a lawyer. I could give you the details, but we're not going to waste time doing that. I'm just saying you could get rid of 2/3 of the state courts by act of Congress. The only court that is mandated to have in this country is, according to the Constitution, the Supreme Court. That's it. And then the remaining federal courts would be used for good purposes. No need to impeach out-of-control judges, abolish the D.C. bench. And this is, without a doubt, in my opinion, this case is another case where people have to justify their existence.
Oh, well, that's a good point. But, okay, so you suggested there's a Karen behind it. I don't doubt that. But it's also an illustration of just how monstrous and tyrannical
Total
the federal
tyrants.
government can be.
Tyrants.
It's the system. It's look at this.
This
It's
poor
monstrous.
guy.
The next one,
A
actually,
federal crime.
the next one's worse.
Yeah.
The next story
I
is
know
worse.
it. I know what it is.
Okay, so this dude in Tennessee is a 61-year-old guy.
A lefty.
Yeah, and he posted something on Facebook. He posted a meme in response to the shooting of Charlie Kirk. And I printed the meme. Where'd it go? Do you have your copy?
Yeah, I think so. And the thing is, just remember, there was all kinds of people posting really horrible stuff.
Oh,
but I am not
mine.
calling for their arrest.
Okay, so here's, I got it. His meme, it's a picture of Trump with a big quote of Trump's on it. And the quote says, "We have to get over it." Well, he was referring to, there was an Iowa school shooting in January of 2024, and Trump said, and we actually could play that if we have time. I don't know if we
think
have
we did.
time.
Just-
but
yeah.
Trump, I wanted to hear it for my own self to see if he
Yeah,
did.
he's-
He actually did.
Yeah,
It
but he
pretty-
wasn't saying it callously.
Well, but it was pretty insensitive.
Well,
it
he's-
was. I heard it. It was
I don't
insensitive.
care.
He messed up. Well, if Trump messes up, I'm going to call him on it.
Well,
He
I don't-
messed
then
up,
I'm gonna have to
And
hear
he
it.
never apologized. It was tasteless and it was bad. He was trying to make it sound good. It was bad.
I just can't imagine that.
Well,
but-
it was.
Well, I don't care.
And well,
I do care, but I'm just
yeah,
saying,
I do.
I can't imagine that
And,
he thinks
okay,
it's
it
no
had-
big deal.
had
They killed
Obama-
children.
No,
were
he never
killed.
said it wasn't a big deal. He said we have to get over
we
it.
do.
That's his quote.
Okay.
And this guy was just quoting a president. If Obama had done this, I would have gone on and I would have posted this meme. And now I'm a felon. This guy has a $2 million bond for a meme
my
in the
objection-
United States of America.
I don't even understand why he's charged. He posts
Because the system is a monster.
No,
That's
I agree.
why.
But
That's why.
the theory that they have is that by posting that, he's somehow indicating that he's for school shootings.
That he
makes no
would shoot up,
sense.
that he was a threat to shoot up a school.
Nah, it makes no
and
sense.
monsters don't need sensible theories.
Well, and I agree. But
They
meanwhile,
don't. They're monsters.
Actual people who threaten to do shoot ups of schools, shoot Charlie Kirk, they're all over the place, publicly posting, and no one ever catches them. Whereas
Yeah, that's
they
right.
catch a guy like
That's
this.
right. They find out later that he had
Yeah,
all those posts.
he was actually on the FBI's radar. This is absurd. And I 100% agree this guy should not be charged with anything.
Okay,
It's
we got a
ridiculous.
couple minutes. I'm gonna play this. It's 16 seconds of, or maybe it's 19 seconds of Trump. You tell me
Okay.
how awesome this quote is.
I didn't say it was awesome.
We're really with you as much as anybody can be. It's a very terrible thing that happened.
Right.
And
I'm with you.
it's just horrible to see that happening.
He's
it's
right.
just horrible. So surprising to see it here. But we have to get over it. We have to move forward.
Yeah, I didn't think that was mean or insensitive.
It's not mean. It's insensitive.
I don't really think so. He said it was horrible. He couldn't believe it happened there.
right.
But I'm not going to quibble with you over that. It's just,
No.
I don't agree. That's just, I think
Well,
he's
if I had
expressing
lost a child
a lot
that
of sin.
day-
Well, what do you want him to do? I mean,
Not
it's-
say those words. Don't say we have to get over it.
you know what,
Say
this-
everything else, but not that. The point is, all this guy with his meme did was quote that.
I already
There's
agree.
I know.
I
There's
agree.
Nothing offensive about that quote. It's just-
Meanwhile, we're about to have no Kings marches this weekend all over the country with powder kegs lit by the left everywhere and ICE being exposed to political violence. We have violent actions and uprisings being called for by Chuck Schumer, and we have police in other jurisdictions refusing to help ICE who is, after all, merely doing their job to deport the illegals who are here.
Yeah,
so
they're
everybody
going-
better pray.
Yeah, for maximum
and hopefully
restraint.
people have learned to look up at rooftops. I don't know. We'll see. But I think that the left and the Marxists who are in charge of this, of many of these crazy people in this country, are hoping for violence, and they're there to institute it. So if you're out and about in one of these marches, be careful. We are Baldy and the Blonde.